Section 4.5, Day 2. Day 2 is going to look very, very similar to Day 1, but not exactly, because these lines are going to be perpendicular. Say that, perpendicular. Perpendicular lines have slopes that are opposite reciprocals of each other. So we're going to take these four numbers and practice doing an opposite reciprocal. This number is 3/4. Opposite meaning positive versus negative. If it's the opposite, one's positive, one's negative. If it's reciprocal, it gets flipped. Reciprocal gets flipped. So I take 3/4, turn it into a negative because it was positive, and flip my 3/4 to a 4/3. Opposite reciprocal. My 5 over here, not a fraction. So how do I take the reciprocal if it's not a fraction? Make it a fraction. Put it over 1. Turn the opposite, positive 5, into a negative, and then reciprocal, flip it. 5 over 1 becomes 1 over 5. Opposite reciprocal. This one already was negative. The opposite of a negative is a positive. The number was 1/6, but when I flip it over, it becomes 6 over 1. That's not okay. Please don't leave a number as 6 over 1, like really ever in your life. Yes, if you graph it, you're going to put it over 1, but the graph is the final answer. This is not the final answer. What happens when you put 6 over 1? You reduce it to just 6, please. And this looks ridiculous, 0.5. You can't make the opposite of the reciprocal of that and make it a negative 1 over 0.5. Fractions and decimals, ugh, ugh, don't do that. Fix this. You know how big 0.5 is. It's 1/2. Turn it into a fraction. Make it the opposite of a positive, which is a negative, and a reciprocal of 1 over 2, which is 2 over 1. But of course you didn't put the 2 over 1. Don't do it. Keep it a whole number. So that was just practicing opposite reciprocals. Wouldn't it be nice if that was your whole assignment? But it's not. We're going to put opposite reciprocals in our slope problems. Give the slope of the line perpendicular to the following examples. And you're looking at these examples and you're like, wait a second. I saw those examples. I just did those in the last lesson. I know, but we did parallel. This time it wants perpendicular. Write it down. So if I know that my slope right here is 3, my new slope is the opposite reciprocal, negative 1/3. And you don't need to write a whole line, it just said give the slope. Careful here, no, your slope is not 2. Minus 2x, minus 2x, get it all set up. Y equals negative 2x plus 6. Yes, your slope is negative 2 right here, but they want perpendicular to negative 2, which is the opposite reciprocal. M equals 1/2. Opposite of a negative is a positive, the reciprocal of 2 is a 1/2. Next. Oh, this should look familiar. We just found this slope on the previous lesson. But let's find it again. 5 minus 8 is negative 3 over negative 7 minus negative 3, which is negative 4. Don't leave it like that. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. This is your current slope. You want a new slope. Give the slope of the line that's perpendicular to this example. What is our new slope? The opposite of a positive, which is a negative, and the reciprocal of 3/4, which is negative 4/3. All right, we are going to do 2. Count it, 2 examples only. Does that mean they're really long? They might be a little bit long, but they're not that bad. Take the time, go ahead and write this down. Write an equation of a line containing the point 6, -4, and it has to be perpendicular to y equals -2x plus 5. Remember that this is x1, this is y1, and our slope is not -2 because it wants perpendicular. By the way, that's what that symbol means, perpendicular. We're going to take that -2 and turn it into a positive 1/2, opposite reciprocal. I don't want to use any of those numbers this time. Just turn it into opposite reciprocal and go from there. Y minus -4 equals 1/2 times x minus 6. Fractions are our friends. We got this. Minus a negative is a plus. Y plus 4 equals 1/2 x minus half of 6 is 3. Minus your 4 from both sides. And you get y equals 1/2 x minus 7. Okay, I told you we're only going to do 2 examples, so we're going to skip number 5. Unless you want to practice it, try it on your own. That'd be a good idea. And we'll just go right away to number 6. Take the time, write the problem down. Recognize right away that the problem is not conducive to our slope. Yes, it gave us x1, y1, but it did not give us slope over here. We're going to get this in slope-intercept form. Minus 2x to both sides. 3y equals -2x plus 9. Divide by 3, divide by 3, divide by 3. Y equals -2/3 x plus 3. You just did all that work, and it doesn't even really, we're not even halfway done with the problem yet. That's why we're only doing 2. We need to take this slope and turn it into the opposite reciprocal. There's our new slope, positive 3/2. Get rid of this old slope and the old equation. We don't need it. All we needed is to know that we have an opposite reciprocal slope because this one again wanted to be perpendicular. Go over here and do the formula. Y minus y1, which is 5, equals new slope 3/2 times x minus 6, which is x1. Distribute and add. We'll start with distribute. You get 3/2 x minus 9 plus 5 plus 5. You get y equals 3/2 x minus 4. This equation is perpendicular to this equation. If you haven't figured it out, we've got to get good at this formula. That's a lot of chapter 4. All right. Be careful of your negatives. Use your calculators. And learn to like fractions. They're our friends.